What's going on, Transcenders? This your boy Brandon, aka FFCLAY from Transcend Global. Where humanity ends is where divinity begins. And I was just dropping in real quick to share a bit of insight, which really is a reminder that I got this morning in my morning meditations. And it's simply just pretty much, why do we allow our outside circumstances in the moment to determine what it is that we really want to do, be, or have? And it's just here lately, I've really been digging back into my subconscious mind bag. Like 12 or 13 years ago, I had got a book called The Power of Your Subconscious Mind by Joseph Murphy. And it really revolutionized my walk and the way I think, and it really helped me in a strong way. But for whatever reason, maybe just due to life, or a lot of times it be familiarity. Like I said in my last video, where we feel like we know something or we have a grasp on something because we may have become familiar with it. We think we know it. But the real litmus test of what you know is the results that you have. So if you say, oh, I already know that, I've been knew that, or I learned that a long time ago. But if you don't have the results that correspond with what you say you know, then do you really know what you know? And if we're judging by results and by fruit, then you don't. So I just really, I think it's long overdue. So I just recently revisited it, just through the lenses and perspective of revelation and understanding that I have now, as opposed to when I first read it. And it's just like makes so much more sense, and just really has reinvigorated me to get back down to the basics, because life really is simple. And like I said before, I know, if no one else, I know myself, that I have a profound gift when it comes to making the simple very complicated. And like I said before, that is a defense mechanism of the ego, because if it's complicated or if it's out of reach, then that justifies or gives me an excuse not to do it, or why I can't obtain it. And so it gives the ego a cop out, because the ego's whole objective is it doesn't want to die. And so, like I said, it uses all type of projections and mechanisms and things to keep it alive. So, when we make things simple, it eliminates the ego and allows us to bypass it. And life ultimately really is simple. When I don't say easy, I say simple. And it's not easy in the beginning, but I believe the more acquainted we become with these truths and work with them and see results in our lives, I think the better and the more easier things will be. That's just me. That's my conviction, and I'm learning. And so I revisited and am revisiting this Power of the Subconscious Mind. And it's such a powerful book. And pretty much, everybody is saying the same thing, whether you listen to Neville Goddard, Bob Proctor, Reverend Knight, Joseph Murphy, or any teacher today. We're all propagating and saying the same thing, just in a slightly different way, according to our understanding, according to people's personalities and background. And pretty much it's just a variety of ways to express the same simple principles. And so it's just so powerful, man. It just really just takes me back to everything that we need is within ourselves, but just the conditioning of this world, and religion is a main culprit of it, places everything out of reach and out of access, and has us grasping outside of ourselves for what's hidden the whole time within ourselves. And it just takes your attention away from that, because they know that once we tap into the power of who we really are and who we were created to be, then their control mechanisms have no more effect over us. And so they want to keep it out of grasp and have you reaching and grasping for paper dragons that are really not there. And when I think about the subconscious mind, man, whatever you call it, some people may call it God, some people call it the universe, some people may say higher self. I think of the subconscious mind as the part of God or divinity that's within us. The Bible calls it Christ in you, the hope of glory. And I firmly believe that the subconscious aspect, what they call it, the subconscious mind, I really think it is who we are at a fundamental level. When you think about sub, it just means beneath or under, and conscious just means to be aware. It's awareness. So what lies right beneath our consciousness, or what we are aware of. Our conscious mind, of course, is our physical brain mechanism and the way that it works. But when you go beneath the surface, there's an invisible element within us that we can't see, but that we know that's there. We're becoming increasingly aware of. Can't quite always express or put it into words, but I think it's that aspect of us that we can't see. That's the real us. The Bible calls it the spirit of man, Christ, God, Christ in you, whatever you call it, it's invisible. That is more real than what we can see, touch, taste, hear, or smell. And so that's what I'm talking about when I say subconscious. And so I was thinking this morning in my meditations, I was just thinking about some things that I wanted to do, some things I wanted to obtain. And then immediately my reason and mind went to natural resources that I had on hand, the perceived lack of money that I had at the moment to do what it is that I wanted to do. But as soon as that came, immediately I had another thought, and I went back to a video I came across maybe 2 months ago. It's on YouTube, where Will Smith is talking about the power of the mind, and he was saying how he had hired a chess master to help him with his chess game. And the thing that the chess master told him was that imagine in your mind where you want your piece to go, irregardless of what it looks like on the board. And Will Smith said basically, like, immediately his mind was like, well, I can't go there, I can't move there. Immediately it presented objections to where he said he wanted his chess piece to go. And it just quickly, just like that, it reminded me how the same thing had happened to me, how I had a thought about some things that I wanted to do, but immediately my mind presented objections as to why I couldn't do it because of the perceived lack of money I had on hand. And I just had a thought, and I was just like, well, why have I, and why do we allow our outside circumstances to determine what happens on the inside of us? And that's one thing. Another thing he was saying in the video, it was just like, even if you can't physically do at the moment the things that you want to do for whatever reason, insert here, in your mind should be the most freest, most limitless, most abundant place that you have. So even if you can't do it physically at the moment, what's stopping us from mentally living the life that we want to live, having the things that we want to have, doing the things that we want to do, or going to places that we want to go? And the only thing is the objections and the limitations that we have had placed up on our minds that tell us what we cannot do. And we've accepted it as truth, even though it's not true. But if you believe a lie, even though it's not true, it becomes true to you because you believe it. And so we believe we have limitations. Therefore, it looks like we have limitations. And so I was just like, I'm tired of allowing my life to be dictated by the senses, and what it seems like I can or can't do. What's stopping me right now in my mind from living and having and being and doing what it is that I want to do? And the answer simply is nothing. We just have to reprogram our minds. We have to not allow ourselves to be controlled by the experiences and trauma and limitations of the past, and just cast all that aside. And in its simplest forms, we have to live and see and be on the inside what it is that we want to do, be, and have, and allow that to dictate our lives and allow our outside circumstances to catch up. Because that's the thing about it. We already live this way, but we've been programmed to so that where it is used against us. But when we're just starting out on this journey of renewing the mind and relearning these truths that we already know innately, it can be discouraging because we don't always see immediate microwave results. And so frustration or offense comes in, and we come to the conclusion that it doesn't work, or that stuff don't work, or it's a lie, or thoughts don't become things, or, we come against everything that was considered law of attraction or manifestation, or what the Bible says is true. And it very indeed is true, but there is a delay and a lag time, especially when we're first starting out on this thing, because there are programs and habits that are already ingrained and conditioned in us. We're already used to conducting and living our lives a certain kind of way. So yeah, it can happen like that, and sometimes it does. Some things we do and want, we see it immediately, and I think that is to encourage us to keep going, that we're on the right path. But normally there is a delay time, and a lot of that. Some of it is outside of our control, but some of it is within our control, and so what we have to focus on is on the elements and things that we can control, and then let the things that we can't control and that's out of our control be taken care of by God within us. That's where the whole trust the process things comes in. That it's not our job to know how or when or who. It's our job to identify what we want and to identify it in the moment, as opposed to projecting in the future. We have to live on the inside as if we already have it or are that thing or are doing that, and allow our experience to catch up with our inside, and to catch up with our minds and our spirits, what they already know is true. And just really remaining diligent in that process, despite what it looks like, and despite what it feels like, because this stuff works. The process works. It has 100% accuracy. It has 100% success rate. We just have to stick with it, and we have to do it. And I believe the more that we work with these principles, the better we will get, the more second nature and eventual first nature will be, and it will just be a byproduct. And then we'll begin to see and do and have these things even quicker. And I was just thinking about just even a movie theater. If you think about it, you have the screen where we're looking at, where we are looking at the actual movie. But in back of us, what we really can't see, I mean, you can if you look up there, there is a projector that is projecting images onto the screen that we're looking at. But inside of that projector is the actual film. And if you want to liken that to our mind would be likened to the projector. The film that we see on the screen of our lives, that would be our thoughts and our feelings. And then the screen of course would be our physical life, what out here, what we can see. So what would it be like if we went to the movie theater and we allowed the environment around us to influence what it is that we see on the screen? So for example, when you're at the movie theater, what are you going to see? You're going to see people sitting around. You may hear slight chatter, some laughing, eating of refreshments, drinking. People may be looking at their phone. They may be cutting their phone on silent. There are a lot of different things going on. So what if we allow that commotion around us to be projected as a film on the screen? Would you want to go pay for that? No, we don't go pay for that. We go to pay for the movie that we paid for. And so what that means is, why would we allow natural circumstances happening around us in our natural life to influence the way we see things? And when we're going to a movie, for instance, as if I'm going to see Space Jam, I'm going to look at Space Jam on the screen. I don't want to see what's going on around me on the screen. I didn't pay for that. And so in order to change what we want to see in our lives, we have to naturally change the film. And so that is a part of the process I'm saying, as far as reconditioning the mind, or renewing of the mind, as the Bible calls it. We have to realize that's what's happening on the outside of us, what we can see. This is just the screen of life. You can't change this by trying to work with this. You have to change what you see by changing the film. And once we go in our mind and begin to work with our thoughts and our emotions and our feelings, and to begin to build the things that we want to see in our minds, there's a slight delay and lag time, but we will begin to see those things in the screen of our lives. And so I said all that to say, just a reminder that what we see out here is a result, whether it's conscious or subconscious, it doesn't matter. It's here. What we see is a matter of what we have thought in the past and what we have been programmed to think. So in order to change what's on the outside, we have to first go and deal with the inside of the cup. Like Jesus said in when he was talking to the Pharisees, he said they put so much emphasis cleaning the outside of the cup that they leave the inside of the cup dirty. But if we clean the inside of the cup, then naturally that will outflow and take care of the outside. And so And learning how to transcend this life, realizing that it's a simulation. If it's a simulation, that means that we're not dealing with the projections that we see on the screen, but we have to go behind that. We have to transcend that, and we have to go to the root and deal with it at the root and the source. And as we do that, we will, I guarantee, begin to see results if we stick with the process and don't be discouraged. I just wanted to share that quick insight with you. I may have went a little bit over what I would have liked, but that's okay. I hope you derive value from this content and be on the lookout for more. But until next time, peace.